This episode of Ham Talk Live is brought to you by Tower Electronics. For connectors, cables, and more, call 920-435-2973 or visit pl-259.com. And by ICOM. Heard it, worked it, logged it. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information about ICOM radios.
It's Ham Radio.
We're finally back. It's time for Ham Talk Live. It's episode number 225. Come and Get Wyoming, as well as complete Windows audio failures all the way around. Recorded live on Thursday, August 27th, 2020. I'm your host, Neil Rapp, WB9VPG. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Ham Talk Live tonight. We'll be joined by R.J Bragg, WY7AA, and we'll take your calls in just a few minutes. And last week, Frank Howell, K4FMH, was here to talk about the Portable Operations Challenge. If you missed that show, you can listen anytime at hamtalklive.com or on your favorite podcast app or on YouTube. Or you can catch the rebroadcast on WTWW 5085 AM Saturday afternoons at about 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So my apologies, we are starting almost a half hour late here. I've been through like 4 computer crashes and all kinds of audio issues. Windows update like 2 weeks ago has caused total havoc. I've spent hours and hours and hours trying to get it all lined out. Thought it was all lined out. Tested it again. Everything was fine. And 1 minute before we go on the show, it starts acting up again. So if the audio on the mic is cutting out again, I apologize. I've done everything I can do. But I didn't want to keep RJ any longer. So we're going to go ahead with it. And hopefully things are okay now. And we'll keep our fingers crossed. So I'll be back with RJ right after this word from ICOM America right here on Ham Talk Live. Get out and be active with ICOM's new IC705 and its optional multi-function backpack. The IC705 is your perfect QRP companion as you have base station features and functionality at the tip of your fingers in a portable package covering HF, 6 meters, 2 meters, and 70 centimeters. This compact rig weighs in at 1 kilogram or just over 2 pounds with RF direct sampling for most of the HF band and IF sampling for frequencies above 25 megahertz and a large 4.3-inch color touch screen with live band scope and waterfall. It runs 5 watts with a BP272 battery, 10 watts with 13.8 volts DC. You have sideband, CW, AM, FM, as well as full D-Star functions. The touch screen, micro USB connector, Bluetooth, wireless LAN, integrated GPS with antenna and GPS logger. The micro SD card slot, speaker mic comes standard and supports QRP operations. And the perfect accessory for your IC705 is the optional backpack LC192 with a special compartment for your IC705 and room for accessories for soda activations or just a day in the park. The IC705 has now received FCC certification and we expect product to be shipping to dealers by the end of September. Visit icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM radios.
Your host, Neil Rapp, may be 2 radios short of a full ground system, but he's back now with more Ham Talk Live.
Welcome back to Ham Talk Live. Thanks to ICOM America for sponsoring the show. They're at ICOMAmerica.com/amateur. Make sure you check them out. And that's exciting news. 705 hopes to ship by the end of September. So that'll be coming your way soon. Well, tonight my guest is R.J. Bragg. He was first licensed as KD0FWZ back in 2008. Since then, he's upgraded to extra class and has his own ham shack, and he spends most of his time operating FM satellites, often roving to rare grids, as well as some sideband contesting. He is the president of the Chi-Y Amateur Radio Club in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and he's been able to operate from McMurdo Station in Antarctica, where his wife was performing research. And I had the privilege of and the honor of being present at RJ's first experience ever at Chick-fil-A with the El Camino. So, RJ, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Neil. I appreciate your all the work that you went through to get us going tonight.
Well, I'm trying. And it's just this new Windows update has just caused all kinds of audio issues, and I thought I finally had done my magic, but apparently not. But yeah, I'm still kind of, I guess maybe that it's more of a Midwest and Southern thing, the Chick-fil-A. You hadn't ever had Chick-fil-A.
No, they do have
last summer.
But yeah, it's not something I've ever come across before.
So we were actually talking before the show, before everything fell apart, and we mentioned Skyline Chili, and we were talking about Skyline Chili, and you said you'd had Skyline Chili, which is the Cincinnati chili, but you actually had it in Antarctica. Yeah,
that's it. I was the only one other than the person that had it shipped down that knew the name, so I got a front row seat for that.
So just in Antarctica. Not anywhere near Cincinnati. Well, anyway.
No, one of these days.
Yeah, maybe one of these days. Well, you're actually getting ready to go on a you were telling me you're getting ready to go on another rove this weekend, and the El Camino is headed out.
The Elko and I have not been on a road trip all season yet, so we are headed out. We're going to be November 0 India for the Kansas QSO party, one of the mobile stations. I'm going to be in the northwest corner of the state trying to activate about 23 counties over 2 days.
Wow. Okay. So that'll be cool. Now, is this El Camino trip sponsored by N6UA, or was that just the last
actually
one?
This one is AD0DX. Ron is the one that talked me into it. He's actually out roving tonight, and we're going to meet up Saturday night and camp together, and then do some more contacts for the contest in the morning.
Okay, well, that'll be a cool thing. So if you're looking for some of those Kansas QSO party counties, be listening for RJ on the air and Mitch. Well, let's talk about getting Wyoming in the log, because that's the topic of the show tonight. You've got this special event that's just come together in the past couple of weeks. That's called Come and Get Wyoming. So what's this all about, and how did this come about? How did you get the idea for this?
Well, it goes back about a year now, and the Chi-Y Amateur Radio Club agreed to host the 2020 Wyoming HamCon, which would have been the ARRL section convention. And during the planning stages back about February, somebody, said, hey, we should get a 1-by-1 call, and W7Y was available. So we just got it, and we figured as the convention drew closer, we'd figure out what to do with it, have it on the air during the convention, something like that. Well, global pandemic happens, and that kind of gets sidelines everything. So we kind of, I guess, forgot about it for a little while. And at our last club meeting beginning of August, some of us started kicking around the idea, hey, we got this special event call, we should do something with it. It's keep getting the Wyoming community together, and the Shiwai group definitely is interested. So we know that Wyoming is kind of the local DX. Everybody's looking for Wyoming. Every time you're on a contest, the club gets emails all the time looking for Wyoming's the last entity for someone's worked all state on this band or this mode or something. So we decided to have at it, kind of the same model as the ARRL 100th anniversary, the WA1/7 in our case. Similar format to that.
All right. Well, it's a shame that, you couldn't have the convention, and I know you had some very honored and famous guests on the way that are chiming in with the hashtag blame RJ tweet or hashtag on Twitter right now. But it's cool that you could recycle this and use it for something else. So if someone does need Wyoming in his or her log, or just wants to get the special event call, and I've actually told a friend of mine, hey, Wyoming's going to be on. He's collecting all states but 1x1 call signs. So this is,
wow.
A rare chance to get that. So I warned him and said, hey, this is coming up. So if somebody's out there and wants to get Wyoming in the log from the special event, what do they need to do? How do they know what to do?
Well, really, it's going to be we're trying to open it up to any amateurs in the state of Wyoming. So definitely the Shiwai members, and we're a pretty good sized club. I think about 54 members, but we're going to open it up to the rest of the hams. And this is, like I said, this is kind of coming together quickly. We just sent out an invitation to people today. So we've got a scheduler on our website, and the website is www.shywyarc.net. So shywyarc.net. And you'll see the special event page right up front, and then there's a scheduler. So when people, and that's going to change regularly. As people have time, they're going to, throw their name on the list and say, I'm going to be on this band, on this mode at this time. So keep an eye out on that. It's just starting to get populated now. We're really trying to get as many modes and as many bands as we can, even some unique ones. I got one buddy from the club that he thinks he's going to try to get the slow scan TV up on the air. I'd like to try to do a little meteor scatter for this event. So we're really going to try to fill in people's Logbook of the World accounts for Wyoming. So all of the logs that we do, we're gonna get those up on Logbook of the World. That's going to be the primary way to get QSL. And then we are going to offer a QSL card, which is getting designed as we speak. We're going to ask for a self-addressed, stamped and addressed envelope, and $1 just to cover our costs, because we're really not trying to make money on this. We're just trying to, break even on this whole deal. And then the last thing we're working on, and this is, again, in the planning stages, we're going to try to offer a digital certificate. So you can go to our website and, get an automatically generated certificate of the 1x1 call station. So there's a lot going on in the background. Things are updating quickly, and we're really just excited to get Wyoming in as many logs as we can.
Okay, and this is September 6th through 15th, so that's when to look for this. So talk a little bit about the club that's sponsoring this, and who's going to be operating, and who's doing the organizing. Is this all you, or what's going on behind the scenes?
Yeah. It's the Shiwai Amateur Radio Club, which has been around since 1932. Like I say, we got a real good group here in Cheyenne. last I checked, like I said, we're about 54 members, and a lot of people, this has been a kind of a grassroots thing. One of the things that happened during the pandemic, we used to have a once a week, an informal meeting at McDonald's on Tuesday at lunchtime. And that, obviously went away. Well, once the weather finally got better in Cheyenne about June, instead of going to McDonald's, we all just went to the local park. So every Tuesday we have a get together in the park and, have lunch outside, practice good precautions, and it's a good way to get together. And there's been a lot of discussion in there. We got a good group of people that are in the background working on this. It's by no means all me. I get to be the voice of the event here and there, but we were on Facebook and trying to put the word out as many places and in many ways as we can. So, and the club call sign is KC7SNO. So that's who's actually requested the 1x1 call sign.
All right, very good. Well, we're trying to get the word out, and I just anchored Newsline this afternoon. We'll have you on this week's Newsline, and I know Josh has got you over on Crash Course and several others, so hopefully the word will get out. So if you know somebody who needs Wyoming, here's a great chance to pick it up. And I'm guessing, knowing you, that there'll probably be some opportunities on satellite as well.
I would suspect. I don't know if there'll be any rare bids, but I would have to think there's probably going to be a contact or two on satellites.
Probably so. I'm so thrilled to have you in my log for probably 4 or 5 different grids, I think. And
yeah, that's great.
Every time I hear your call, it's like, okay, let's see where he's at now, because he's usually somewhere else. So we usually try to break through there. So,
and one thing that I hadn't even thought about until I was preparing for the show tonight, I need Wyoming in my log for a lot. I mean, I got wiped all states, but I got a lot of bands and modes that I needed. So I think the folks in Wyoming are going to be happy to get Wyoming for a few contacts as well. Yeah,
we're talking. You're in Wyoming, so you're getting pileups all the time because people need Wyoming, and you're on satellites, which are almost always busy. And then your other big operating position was Antarctica. So it's like, how are you going to get all these?
Yeah, I don't have conversations on ham radio very often. Every contact I've ever made's been in the middle of a pileup, I think.
Well, that's kind of a nice problem to have, but I guess it could get old after a while. But here's a chance to get Wyoming crossed off. And I know for the school, we were trying to get a school in every state, and Wyoming was number 49, so it was a tough one.
Yeah. I spent a little time on the FCC, the ULS today, and it appears that Wyoming has the 5th fewest hams with active call signs right now. So I think around 2,200 hams. So it's not a big group.
Well, that actually answers a question that came in from John W4USF. Any idea how many hams are licensed in Wyoming and how many of those are active? So you are.
Yeah, and active is tough. But according to the ULS, that's and that seems reasonable. There's several clubs around the state, so there's quite a few people out there.
All right. Well, it's Come and Get Wyoming, September 6th through the 15th. And we'll talk a little more about that and a little more with RJ after this word from Tower Electronics right here on Ham Talk Live.
Jerry, what's up, man? I haven't seen you at Sunbucks in a while. I used to see you every morning getting coffee. What's up?
Well, I can't afford Sunbucks 5 days a week anymore. I had to spend my money on PL259s. Those antenna projects I've been meaning to do. I had to do them before my HOA finds out I have antennas.
That's too bad, Jerry. I miss seeing you and catching up over coffee. You should get your PL259s from Tower Electronics. They have great stuff. Jerry, you're back. Oh, QRM Heterodyne Frappuccino. That's a good choice. How's it going? Did you get all those antennas up before the HOA police showed up?
Yeah, I got them all done. Thanks for telling me about Tower Electronics. Now I can have my coffee. I just saved a bunch of money on my PL259s by switching to Tower Electronics.
Don't get caught without PL259s. Visit Tower Electronics online at pl-259.com or at a Hamfest near you. Or give them a call at 920-435-2973. And be sure to pick up some power poles, adapters, and cables too.
Join the conversation. Give us a call at 859-982-7373. Again, the number to call is 859-982-7373. Or, if you'd rather type than talk, tweet us at Ham Talk Live. Now, here's Neil Rapp with more Ham Talk Live.
I'll see you further down the log. You're listening to Ham Talk Live with Neil Rapp.
Welcome back to Ham Talk Live. Tower Electronics is online 24/7 at pl-259.com, and they've run through their list of Hamfests for now, hoping some more start back up soon. But they're online all the time, pl-259.com, and say hello to Scott and Jill. Ham Talk Live is on the air every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here at hamtalklive.com. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I haven't turned the phone bank back on. There was an update for the software, and I don't know if that was what was causing the problem or not, but it seemed like things were working, so I didn't dare do it. So I'm going to leave that off for a while. We may try the phone lines later, but if you want to tweet us, it's at Ham Talk Live on Twitter, or if you're listening live here on Thursday night, you can type a comment in on Spreaker, and we can get you in that way. And if you're listening to us on WTWW or on the podcast version, you won't be able to get us because it's Thursday night here. And again, apologies for running late tonight. We've had all kinds of technical problems, and there still may be some crackle in the microphone here. So we'll keep trying. I promise you I've spent 5 or 6 hours on this just in the last 3 or 4 days, trying to make sure this all works. And of course, as soon as we get ready to go on, that's when Murphy shows up, just like in ham radio. So anyway, if you have a question, let us know at Ham Talk Live, or give us a comment here on Spreaker. John also says, W4USF says, thanks to your service to the ham community, and just asked, is the University of Wyoming on the air? So do you know anything about that? Oh, yeah, we've actually had to kind of work on that a little bit.
Yeah, you made the contact through them, and we work pretty closely with the University of Wyoming radio. It's UARC, University Amateur Radio Club, I believe is the official title of their club. And we share a repeater site with them. So we work with them regularly, but honestly, I don't know about their club station. I don't know what they have, or I don't know too much about that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, we were trying to get those schools, and I think that was who we contacted at one point.
I believe so.
During School Club Roundup. Let's see. Tom, WY7KY, says that I should tell you that you sound better on VHF. Actually, you sound better than on VHF.
Yeah, and Tom is one of the backbones of this group. He's been part of the club for years, and he's a Kentucky boy. So he's he had a lot of shots on the UK boys there basketball. Told me I need to get a few zingers in on you, but I refrained. So Tom's he's been a huge help in putting this event together. So he's one of the big heavy hitters in the background.
Well, we can't fault him for that. So we'll see how the old Wildcats do, but we'll see if they even play at this point.
Yeah.
At Ham Talk Live on Twitter or comment here on Spreaker if you have a question here. Oh, and yes, John reminds me he's an IU fan. He's in Florida, and I'm in Bloomington, and I'm a UK fan, and he's an IU fan. I don't know. Well, anyway, you've got some stories to tell, I know, from roving, and again, you're going to be roving Kansas this weekend. You got any good satellite roving stories?
I've got one that kind of stands out over all the rest. I went up, my wife, the reason I got into satellites was my wife got back into fly fishing. And I have the attention span of a gnat, so fly fishing isn't going to work for me. So we were going to be out in the middle of nowhere, Wyoming, and I knew people would be wanting grids, so I decided I'd get into satellites, and that's been a great thing for us. We go camping, and she does one, and I do the other. So we went up to the Bighorn National Forest. It's up near Sheridan, Wyoming, near the Montana border. And I'm doing passes. I'm handing out Delta November 64, and people are loving it because it's not a common grid square. And I was on an FM AO92 pass in the morning, and I thought I heard somebody call me from Delta November 64. And it was WA9JBQ, who's Rick, who's actually out roving right now. And I make contact with him, and he gives me DN64, and I'm like, well, I'm in DN64. And again, nobody's ever in DN64. So we start, and it was an early on in the pass, so it was still fairly quiet. And I'm like, well, where in Delta November 64 are you? And he's like, oh, the Bighorn National Forest. I'm like, well, I'm in the Bighorn National Forest. And he's like, well, I'm in this little area called Burgess Junction. And I'm like, well, I'm in this little area called Burgess Junction. And we just kept going down. And I'm like, are you on this road? Yeah, he was camping about 3/4 of a mile from where I was camping. So we made a satellite contact 3/4 of a mile away from each other, not knowing each other, in the middle of the national forest, miles from anyone else. There were more cows than there were people. So that one was kind of over the top, pretty amazing and then, half hour later he drove down and, got to meet him, had an eyeball QSO. So it was a pretty spectacular one.
Yeah. Now you got to make some eyeball QSOs on this power tour last summer, and that's where we got to see each other. So tell us a little bit about the power tour.
So my other hobby is old cars. So I've got a 1972 El Camino that I drug out of a farmer's field, and Neil can attest that I haven't done any body work on it at all. But it runs. I've put thousands of miles on it. And the Hot Rod Power Tour, it's Hot Rod Magazine, every year for 25 years now, it's essentially it's a moving car show. It's 7 cities in 7 days. And the shows are usually in 150 to 250 miles apart from one another. So this whole car show moves from one place to another. There's no competition or anything. It's kind of a rolling cruise night, if you will. And so I've done it for 3 years now, and I've taken my ham radio equipment, specifically my satellite equipment, and traveled along through Kansas and Missouri, down as far as Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina. So we've been all over the place with it. And on this last trip, I did a big roving trip out of it. I think I activated 28 grids or something. Had an eyeball QSO with you, KB2ISI, K2MTS, K0FFY. I'm sure I'm leaving somebody out, but yeah, it's a great way, and that's a great part of this hobby is meeting. There's so many people and so many ways to get together with them and talk to them on the air. But then when you can, sit across the table and have lunch with them or something, it's a great time.
Yeah, it's always cool to meet up with people, and glad we got to do that, because that was definitely not something that would happen normally, and we were able to pull that off.
And that was a last minute
cool
deal. That day was pretty busy. You caught us in the I was in the middle of the road. That was I was pretty pooped by that point in time in the week. Driving 1,000 miles in a 72 El Caminos, with the 5 speeds. You're worn out by the end of the week.
Yeah, well, it was a lot of fun that day. I was glad to see it and see the Elko. So we got the famous Elko here. All right, the captain is chiming in that I don't have the phones turned on, so we're at the end. We're going to try it, and I'm going to tell it, no, don't update. We're going to see. It may crash, but we're going to try it. Let's see. Am I cutting out? Well, okay. It's not great, but all right. Let's give it a try. 859-982-7373 is the number. And I think the captain wants to get a word in edgewise here. So let's see if KG5GJT gets in here. 859-982-7373, or you can tweet us at Ham Talk Live or comment, and we'll finish things up here and see if we can get that going on. So Tom mentions here too, and I'll retweet this as we speak, the website for the club and the WY7 or W7Y event, the website there. So we just tweeted out the URL for that. And RJ, why don't you go through that contact information again for the Come and Get Wyoming event, where they can find you on the web and on social media and all that again.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, it's the club name is Shy Y, so it's SHY-WY. And if you search that online, you'll find the club website pretty easily. But it's ShyYarc.net. That's the website, and it's wide open on the front page. You'll see the special event right up front, and then there's an email address which is shyevents@gmail.com. And the QRZ page for W7Y has all the linked info as well.
All right, very good. So keep an eye on that. It's September 6th through 15th. And Come and Get Wyoming. All right, we've got a call on the line. I'm assuming it's Brian. Good evening. Welcome
Hello,
to Ham Talk Live.
Hi, this is KG5GJT. This is Brian in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Oh, there he is. Okay, the computer hasn't crashed yet, so go right ahead.
Look,
sir.
I wanted to tell both of y'all hello. Good to hear y'all on. And I'm crushed that they're not having the event. I had big plans to get the wife and go up there and meet a bunch of people, meet RJ and a bunch of other guys, but obviously we can't do that this year. So my question is this. RJ, will it let your group host the event next year, or will it go into some other location?
It is, yes, it's looking like we'll be able to do next year. It sounds like the Rocky Mountain Division is going to get pushed a year. The Wyoming was up for the division convention in 2021, so it sounds like that's being pushed as well for a year. So it sounds like the space is going to be open for 2021. So we got our fingers crossed, and I think we can make it work.
All right. Well, then hopefully I will see y'all up there in 2021.
We'd love to have you. You were one of the first people you were the first one to jump on the bandwagon and said, I need to be in Wyoming, and we really appreciate that.
All right. Well, look, good to hear from y'all, and y'all stay safe, and I'll talk to y'all later.
All right, Brian, take care. Thanks for calling. 859-982-7373 is the number, and we'll hold it open here for another minute or so and see if we get any more calls. But Come and Get Wyoming is the event, and you've got several days that you can put Wyoming in the log if you need it. So make sure you check them out at W7Y. All right. Well, RJ, thank you so much for coming on. And hang on, we do have another call. So let's take another call. Hello, welcome to Ham Talk Live.
Hey Neil, how you doing? Tom, WY7KY.
Hello there. And should we do the CATS cheer, or is that legal?
Yeah, we're just going to go around the horn a little bit, and I won't give you any more grief about UK, if that's okay.
Well, thanks for calling in, Tom. What do you have for us?
Hey, listen, RJ's done a wonderful job on this event. I just wanted to say that between RJ and the rest of the planning committee for this special event, I think it's going to be a great one. We're anticipating a lot of contacts, so everybody needs to dial in to the website and make sure that they get the information. We've also got it going over to Bob and the crew over there at Ham Nation. 100 Watts in a Wire, we've plugged them, and you guys have done a great job too. So I just wanted to call in and say, yeah, he does sound a little better on air than he does on VHF. Over.
Go ahead, RJ.
Well, Tom, like I said, he's been a big part of this, so he's done a lot of the heavy lifting.
Yeah, well, you're to be commended for helping us all out and keeping us going in the right direction. So I think it's going to be a great time, and good to hear you on the show. And we'll talk to you afterwards, I guess, on VHF or whatever. But Neil, thanks for having RJ on. Thanks for showcasing Wyoming, and we're really looking forward to it.
All right, Tom, thanks for being there, and it takes a team to pull it off, so thank you for helping out, and thank you for getting this on the air so some people can put that in the books, and also make use of that call sign, and we'll wish you well for 2021 for the convention.
Absolutely, Neil. All right, thanks. You guys take care. 7-3.
7-3. All right. Well, I think we'll end it there, RJ. But any final words here before we go?
Just thank you again, Neil. It's great to have a friend and a resource like you in the ham community. I sent you a message the other day saying, hey, tell me who I need to talk to. And, it's good to know a mover and a shaker in the ham radio world. So you've been a huge help to us, and it's great catching you on the air when I can. And I hope to get you in the log several more times.
And the same goes here. So thank you so much for coming on, and we'll be catching you on the birds.
Roger. Yep. And everybody, come get Wyoming. We want to give it out. So load us up. We're ready to handle it.
All right. W7Y. Look them up on QRZ or the Shy Y, ARC, SHY, WY, ARC on the web, and find out more. So that is a wrap for this week's Ham Talk Live. Thanks to my guest, R.J. Bragg, WY7AA, and everyone out there in cyberspace for listening and calling in, typing in, and invite you back next Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. For a list of our guests, go to hamtalklive.com, and we also have more T-shirts in, so if you'd like to order one, you can go there and click on the link there, and it'll take you to the webpage to order one of those. And if you like the show, please leave us a review, and we'll say 7-3 for now. So this is Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, saying 7-3, 7-5, and may the good DX be yours.